So you track your sleep, you monitor your steps, you've got all the health data you could ever want, but you still feel kind of off, right? Well, today we're going way beyond the numbers. We're going to uncover a secret conversation that happens between your heart and your brain every single night, a rhythm that literally dictates how well you rest, repair, and remember.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It's telling us that our own heartbeat, one of our most basic vital signs, holds the key to unlocking some of the brain's most complicated functions. We're not just talking about pumping blood here. We're talking about a secret language that controls our mental clarity and our ability to heal.
All right, Section 1 is all about this data-driven health quest we're on. We have more information at our fingertips than ever before in history, but it often just leads back to one really frustrating question. I have all this data, why don't I actually feel any better? I mean, think about the tools we have now. It's incredible. We've got Oura rings tracking our sleep cycles, instant testers for stress hormones like cortisol, even things called longevity mirrors that can scan our biomarkers. We are literally swimming in a sea of data about ourselves. And all that data, it starts to point to some really specific questions, like this one. And this is a big one. We can see on our tracker that our sleep is all chopped up, and we have a hunch that stress is the bad guy here. We start to wonder, could this one hormone, cortisol, be the master saboteur that's wrecking my nightly repair cycle? This is the question that really kicks off our whole journey.
So for Section 2, let's talk about the sleeping brain's rhythm. See, to really get a handle on that cortisol problem, we've got to learn to listen to this secret language our heart is speaking every night, a language that reveals the super elegant natural rhythm of the brain while we sleep.
Have you ever looked at your sleep data and seen this? A sudden spike in your heart rate right in the middle of the night? Your first thought is probably, whoa, what's wrong? Am I having a stress dream or something? It can seem pretty alarming, but what if it's not a sign of distress at all? But here's the thing. It's not random at all. In fact, it's the opposite. It's a precise, predictable, and totally essential rhythm. So think of it less like an alarm bell going off and more like your brain's maintenance crew kicking into high gear for a really, really important job.
And here's how that engine actually works. Deep inside your brain, a little spot called the locus coeruleus kind of flips a switch. Then, boom, it releases a pulse of norepinephrine. That's a hormone kind of like adrenaline. That's what causes that little heart rate spike, what scientists call a micro-arousal. And here's the magic. That rhythmic spike helps lock in your memories from the day and acts like a power washer, flushing all the metabolic junk out of your brain.
But, and this is a big but, not all arousals are created equal. This is where that cortisol question comes roaring back. Over here on the left, you've got the good guys, the helpful, rhythmic ones that are part of that rinse cycle. But when your system is flooded with stress, when your cortisol is through the roof, you get the stuff on the right. These arousals are too frequent, they're too intense, and instead of just being a quiet part of your brain's repair process, they actually register as wake-ups, leaving you with that fragmented sleep that makes you feel totally drained in the morning. And this quote just says it all, right? Your brain has this amazing, self-cleaning, memory-storing system. It knows exactly what it's supposed to do. But it just can't perform that delicate procedure when your entire nervous system is revving at this high idle from chronic stress. It's like trying to perform delicate surgery during an earthquake. It's just not going to happen. Okay, Section 3. Let's talk about the price of greatness. So where does this high idle even come from? Well, a lot of the time, it actually comes from the very same habits that make us successful, the habits that help us win. And those aren't always the same habits that help us heal.
Think about this for a second. To be the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan had to be hyper-competitive, completely relentless, never satisfied. Those are the habits that built a dynasty. But that same relentless drive, that inability to just switch off, that doesn't serve you so well for the second half of your life. The very price of greatness can be a nervous system that just never, ever learns how to power down. So what this really calls for is a huge shift in how we think. For so many high achievers, the old way of thinking is everything on the left. More is always more, you gotta push through the pain, sitting is for lazy people. But the new paradigm, the one that actually heals you, is over on the right. It's about realizing that less can be more, that rest is genuinely productive, and that even just sitting, when you do it with mindfulness, can be a powerful tool for recovery.
All right, moving on to Section 4. Where does all this stress actually get stuck? Because this high idle isn't just a mental thing. Our body remembers. It actually stores that stress in physical spots we don't even think about.
You know, chronic stress isn't picky. It settles in all over the body, and it can literally harden our fascia. That's the web of connective tissue that wraps around, well, everything, all our muscles and organs. It creates these locked-in patterns of tension and pain that we end up carrying around every single day.
And this story from a practitioner is just, wow, it's so powerful. They're describing how they could just put a hand on someone's hip, give a very gentle push, and suddenly years of stored trauma, of held emotions would just come flooding out. It shows you just how deeply our physical tension is tied to our emotional history.
So how do you get this stuck stress out? Well, there are kind of two main paths you can take. You've got the mechanistic approach on the left. It's more forceful, right? The rock'em sock'em adjustment that's trying to fix a specific part. Then there's the energetic approach on the right. It's way gentler. It uses a really light, intentional touch to basically tell the nervous system, hey, you're safe, which then allows the body to let go of that held trauma all on its own.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, the whole orange approach. This is really the big idea here. We can't just fix one single part of ourselves. We have to look at the entire system.
This quote is the perfect way to think about it. True health isn't about dissecting an orange into its different parts. You can't understand it by just studying the seed or the pulp or the skin. Its essence, its vitality is in the whole thing, and it's the exact same for our health.
So what does that whole orange approach actually look like? Well, it's about listening to your body's subtle signals, not just the data on your app. It's truly embracing rest as a powerful tool for growth. It might mean exploring some of those gentler, energetic therapies like spinal flow, or even whole body treatments like red light. And it absolutely includes practices like mindfulness and yoga nidra. That's a kind of guided meditation that can finally help you turn down that high idle.
And that's really where we land. Look, your data is amazing. It's a fantastic tool that tells you what is happening inside your body. You can see the heart rate spikes, the high cortisol, the choppy sleep. But the real transformation, the real healing, that starts when you use that data as a clue to ask, why? Why is my system stuck in overdrive? Why is this stress getting locked in my body? Answering that question, well, that's what moves you from just tracking your health to truly transforming it.